welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making vegan cream of broccoli cheese soup, which doesn't sound delicious, but I guarantee you 100% like you could fool a non-vegan. This is so delicious, creamy, cheesy, like everything that you want on a freezing cold day. Here in Chicago, it has been negative 21 degrees this week with a real feel of negative 50 degrees. So we're looking to get some nice, warm, comforting soup in the family here today. Let's jump right into our ingredients. Usually I actually use fresh broccoli, but this is just what I have right now. So I've got a bag of frozen broccoli florets. We're going to be using a small-ish onion, and it could be yellow or white. It really doesn't matter. We're going to be using some fresh garlic, two ribs of celery, 4 carrots, a potato, and then our other ingredients are, of course, salt and pepper. We're going to be using some unsweetened almond milk, which I just realized is vanilla, which is not awesome, but we're going to keep moving. Anyways, we're going to be using some avocado oil, and then we're going to be using veggie broth and some nutritional yeast. And in case you're not familiar, let's see if that focuses. There we go. In case you're not familiar with nutritional yeast, this is a additive that you use in vegan cooking in order to add a cheesy flavor. I would say it's more to the likeness of a Parmesan type flavor, but it is gluten-free, salt-free, sugar-free, vegetarian. It is vegan, obviously, and it is nutritious. So I forget what it actually is. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. This is what nutritional yeast is. Let me go ahead and we will be right back with our prep. Alrighty, so for our prep, the first step I always do for anything is I save my plastic grocery bags when I go to like Jewel or Pete's or grocery shopping, and then I use them to collect my kitchen scraps in the sink while I'm cooking. So that's what I was doing there. Peeled them, got the ends chopped off, tossed them away. And then I went ahead and put these in a rather small dice because the overall cooking time of this soup is not that long. And carrots kind of take a long time to get completely soft. And we do need them to be nice and soft all the way through because we are going to be pureeing the soup later on. So go ahead and put those in a bowl and put them off to the side because we are going to continue on next with cleaning up our celery. For the celery, you just want to chop off the ends and then try to match the same shape and size as you did on the carrots. And that's a good rule of thumb whenever you're chopping any of your veggies that are going to be cooking at the same time. You do want to keep them relatively the same shape and size so that way they will have a similar cooking period of time, if you will. Here I am breaking down the onion, just a regular old, small to fine dice on that. And then we're going to finish that up and pop it in the bowl with the rest of the party and take care of our potato. Something I just found out is that the tip of the peeler, like you can use it to take the eyes of the potato off. Like previously I would just like skin like half the potato off trying to get those deep eyes out. So that's something good to learn if you didn't know. And then here we are just chopping those into a smaller dice as well. And then we're just going to quickly throw a mince on 2 cloves of garlic and we will keep that to the side. Okay, we have added a little bit of avocado oil to this pot. And you don't have to use avocado oil. You can use whatever kind of oil toots your horn or whatever you got. That's just what I happen to have. And then I've added our carrots, celery, and onion and our potatoes to the pot. And I have added about maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan pink sea salt to the pot as well. Because anytime that you're going to saute your veggies, make sure to at the very least add a little bit of salt because it helps them release their moisture content more quickly. So we're just going to go ahead and let this saute for about 10 minutes or until the veggies are softened, and then we will get going on adding our remaining ingredients. Please note, I do have our garlic over here on the side. I never add my garlic in when I add veggies that have to saute for a while because it will burn and it will be bitter and it will be nasty and ain't nobody got time for that. So give me a few and we'll be back with the next step. Alright, I added our garlic, as you can see, to the pan, and maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we're just going to go ahead and stir this around for a few seconds until it gets fragrant. Because the veggies are nice and soft. And you'll know it's the right point when the potatoes start getting all annoying and like sticking to the bottom of the pan. That just means that they're softening and there's not enough room in the pan for them to begin crisping and browning. So when that happens, that's definitely the point where you want to add your garlic. Hold on 1 second and we'll start dumping in our liquids. Okay, so we are going to add our 1 cup of almond milk. I always spill, so I'm going to go really slow. And I am going balls to the wall and using the vanilla almond milk. It is only 1 cup of milk that is in this recipe, so I'm pretty sure that it's not going to make a difference. I will definitely let you know in the comments section afterwards, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be fine. So right now I'm just kind of deglazing the pan with my small spoon that I need to get a replacement for. Deglazing the pan is when you add liquid to a hot pan and you scrape up all the little brown bits on the bottom of the pan, that extra flavor to your sauce. Our next ingredient is 3 cups of stock or broth. I happen to have vegetable broth, so I'm just going to add that, and I'm going to wing measuring this only because I know that this has 4 cups in it. So when the bottle is 3/4 of the way empty, we're good to go. I think we're probably good. I'll save that to the side because we may need to add more in the end depending on how thick our broth gets once we've pureed it. So the next thing we're going to do is just let this come to a nice rolling boil. Scrape all your little onion bits. Make sure they get in the pot. And then once it comes to a boil, we are going to add our broccoli. And we are more than halfway done. Like, this is a super easy recipe. So let's just wait for this to a boil. So I actually dumped the entire bag of broccoli in. It was probably more towards 4 cups, but like, I don't mind extra broccoli in the soup. This is the first time that I am using frozen broccoli. And I'm already regretting it, just for the fact that I usually cut these in very large chunks, the broccoli, because we are going to be removing the broccoli from the broth before we blend it, because we want to just blend the soup into an orange cheesy color and then leave the steamed broccoli to the side. And then I just realized that I'm a genius, and this is steam in the bag broccoli. So if you are going to use frozen broccoli that steams in the bag, just steam it in the bag on the side and leave it out until later. We're going to go ahead and return this to a boil and then let it simmer until the broccoli is cooked, so probably about 5 more minutes, and then the rest of the veggies should be tender, and we will be on to pureeing our broth. And your broccoli is nice and bright green. You're going to go ahead and remove your chunks and put it back in a bowl. This is the same bowl that I used earlier, and that is one thing I do miss about vegan cooking, is the lack of cross-contamination. Like, this was chicken in that bowl, we wouldn't be able to put it back in there because it would be contaminated. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully remove all these broccoli florets. And the reason that we're doing that is we are going to puree this to like oblivion. We don't want any chunks in the soup. We want the carrots to give it the maximum amount of color so it looks nice and cheesy. And then we will be adding the broccoli back to the blender. I gotta learn what the blender thing is called. Is it called a carafe? If somebody knows, can you just please leave it in the comments? Because your girl needs some help with knowing what the blender jar is called. But then we will go ahead and add the broccoli back to the blender jar and just pulse it to give it a nice chunky look. But if we were to blend the broccoli with the carrots and everything at the same time, you would definitely end up with probably a brown colored broth. It would still taste good, but it wouldn't be very visually appealing. And half the trick of good vegan cooking is tricking the eye, like making yourself think that you're eating something that you're craving, like something that has cheese in it, for example. So I'm going to nitpick through the soup and finish removing the broccoli, and I will be back once I have transferred the remaining contents of the soup into this here blender jar. Time for a close-up on the nooch. Nooch is a slang or abbreviation for nutritional yeast used in a lot of vegan recipes and vegan blogs. So if you ever see somebody talking about Nooch or asking for it in a recipe, that's what it is. And it kind of looks like fish food, doesn't it? So we are going to be adding 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast to the blender, along with the carrots, celery, onion, and boiling liquid broth. I have our broccoli to the side. Go ahead and pop on the lid, and I'm going to puree this for probably 2 minutes or until it is completely uniform in color. I will be back when we start pulsing it with the broccoli, and we're pretty much almost done, so just hang on one more second. All right, our soup has been pureed. It's a little hard to tell in the blender, but it is completely smooth and looking awfully cheesy. So I added our broccoli back into the blender cup. I added a majority of it. It's pretty full inside of there, and I don't want to cause a problem and have my blender explode. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss this back in the pan because I don't mind having a couple of chunks. And then I'm going to set my blender to low, and then let's see here. We're going to use the chop function. And that's it. You literally just want to mix it up a little bit, chop it up a little bit, and when it's looking like Panera, you're ready to go. I'm going to toss this back into this pot, get everything mixed up, and we'll be back with the final product. Okie doke, folks. Everything has been added back into the pot. I added about 1/2 teaspoon of salt after tasting it because it was like seriously lacking in salt. Always taste your food before you serve it. And then I also added like another sprinkle of black pepper, but that's just our personal preference in our house. We really like black pepper. So as you could see, this is creamy and cheesy, and we've got chunks of broccoli in there. And I know this lighting, maybe if we turn this off, it's really hard to see, but it really does look like Panera soup. So let me actually just get it plated up. I feel like I'm wasting your time looking at this dark bowl of soup, and I will unveil the world's best vegan broccoli cheese soup. Here's our finished product, our vegan broccoli cheese soup. Thick and creamy and cheesy with nice little chunks of broccoli. I definitely like that I left the little chunks of broccoli, a couple of them to the side. I think it adds a little pizzazz there to the soup. And I am serving it with, sorry, I thought I was really funny. I make myself laugh. I'm serving it with a little side salad. Today we're just doing this dressing. I don't know if it's good, but I will let you know. And Olivia has already decided that she is not eating her soup. And let's see if Fifi eats it. Fifi?
Eat your soup, please.
Can you try your soup? No?
Eat your soup. Toma, cómetela.
No? And I'm sure my husband will eat his soup. So that's it. Thank you for watching my video.
So good.
I really hope that you give this a try despite the fact that it's vegan. If you are a vegan person and you came to this channel for this video, I hope you enjoy it. This is one of the best vegan recipes that I've made, other than the cauliflower chickpea avocado wraps, which I will be making later this week. If you could please make sure to like and subscribe, I'd super duper appreciate it. It helps me out. And I'm going to go ahead and link a couple of other videos that I think you might enjoy here. And have a great night. Thank you.